What's all that about classic bits with Cohen and Kelso?
Hello, dear listener. Here's some bits from the old, now deleted podcast episodes from before I came along and made it better.
G'day, Kerwin.
G'day, Kelso. Hang on, let me just do this for you. A million welcomes to you, sir.
Sounds like something just popped out of one of your cogs.
One of my gears slipped.
You didn't pop your clogs. You popped a cog.
I did. I popped a top.
Well, now, regardless that of you cog popping, it's hard to say.
It is.
I do feel welcome, and I've been meaning to tell you a story actually. So I was hoping you would settle back and see if you've got any sort of insight into this melodrama, which played out about 9 months ago, which was in summer in London. So I was cycling home from work when I was cycling through like a large residential area with a park. When I turned around the corner, like about 40 metres away from me, there's a ice cream truck parked up next to the park. But a big white van kind of parked parallel to the ice cream van with only a small amount of room in between. Plenty of room for a cyclist to cycle through, I might add. Right, but they're blocking the road because this is a normal road, right? Although not often visited. And so I come around and go, wow, that's really weird. Who could park like that? And I couldn't see anyone at all, right, as I cycled up to these two vans. And I might have muttered under my breath or just shook my head as I like to do. I'm thinking, well, a nice park. I might have even said nice park under my voice, right? Anyway, and flitted between the two vans and carried on. And then seconds later, I hear this engine being revved really hard and hardcore. And I thought, oh, better look out, some crazy driver is coming up. And I was coming up to a couple of turns, so I move out to the middle of the road so they can't come up beside you, going to threaten you. And then I look behind me when I'm in a position. It's the van driver. And the thing is, his van was pointing the opposite direction. He's done some sort of hardcore U-turn, which wouldn't have been easy, and started chasing me. Like this guy, and it was a DPD delivery van. It was one of those really big white vans, you know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, so now I'm in front of this clearly infuriated DPD driver, who I've obviously shocked to the very core by muttering under my breath and shaking my head, and perhaps suggesting that he had made a good park.
Right, so he thought the only way to deal with your comment was to menace you in his vehicle while you're on a bicycle.
He was menacing me.
Oh.
Originally, I thought, it was just some other vehicle coming up because I didn't think it would be possible for that guy to do a U-turn and chase after me. I'd forgotten all about him.
Right.
All right. So I turn around and notice it's him. So I'm out in the middle of the road and I've got to do a couple of turns, and I realise now that he's chasing me. So when I go around to the final turn, I kind of let him speed by me very closely, but immediately he stops at a red light, which I stop at the red light too, right? So I pull up kind of in front of him so he can see me. And I started suggesting that perhaps he was masturbating a penis on his forehead. Right. In this way, hoping to communicate to him that I didn't think what he was doing was very cool.
Oh, so you did it with sign language. You did the jerk-off motion against your head, as if to say...
Yeah, is that sort of thing? That was big in the 80s.
Yeah, you know what? If it's not a thing anymore, I think you just brought it back. But it's been a while since I've seen someone do it.
In popular culture of late.
No.
Do you think it's not an Australian thing, is it?
No, I think it's universal. I think it's just gone out of favour. But...
So for the dear listener, would you describe, Kerwin, what we're talking about exactly?
Well, you're saying you want to, because obviously his windows are wound up, he can't hear you, so you're saying he's a dickhead by masturbating, making the jerk-off motion against your head.
Yes.
Against your forehead, as if you had a dick attached to your forehead.
Yeah.
I
was probably doing it quite forcibly, slaps against the forehead,
Oh, really? Wow.
Well,
Furious.
I was also agitated at this point.
Right, so basically it was a showdown between two of Britain's grumpiest men.
That's right. Mr. DPD driver.
He didn't know who he was dealing with.
Anyway, so I made sure, so we're stopped at this red light, so I made sure I was like right off to the side, and I wasn't in front of his van, so he didn't have a second chance at going at me, and I thought, well, you know, I'm just going to leave it there, because if this guy is like whizzed by me and is threatening me, I just want to be careful. So eventually the light changes to green, and he drives off, and I hang back, right, because I'm not going to keep up with him. I hang back. We're going in the same direction still. I hang back. Then so he pulls off, but at the same time I hear this thunk, right? So maybe you could put in a better sound effect, but there was a thunk, right? And because I just started to slowly push off, and I look around, he has thrown from his driver window, he must have rolled it down the last minute, he's thrown a 1 litre bottle full of water over the cab in my direction.
Wow.
I'm on the left-hand side of the car, he's on the right. He's in the right driver's window, so he's pulled down the window, and as he's driven off, he's thrown a 1 litre bottle of water in my direction.
Well, dude, he's a delivery driver professionally, so you hope it was water. You know, because a lot of these guys don't get out of their
yellow in colour.
Yeah, they don't get out of their vans to, sometimes it's on the fly in the nearest, I understand. Apparently, highway roads are littered with bottles of wee. So you want to hope it was water, and that the lid was on tight.
A large percentage of those bottles contributed by DPD drivers, apparently.
Yeah. So the thing is,
varies in your part of the country.
Yeah. Well, the joke's on him. If it was water later, he would have gone, "Gee, I could really use a drink right now. Damn it." So,
especially so considering what happens later in the story, dear listener. So remember, I said that.
Oh, there's more.
So I pull off, and I'm following him at a distance now, because I think, well, hang on, this guy is intent on doing me actual bodily harm. But my white hot fury turned to excitement. I think I was like, oh, this is wow, this sort of stuff doesn't normally happen.
Exhilarating. Yeah, it's exhilarating. Yeah, sounds like fun.
So what I figure is, I know that not too far away, there's probably going to stop at another light. So I figure what I'm going to do is follow him up there at a safe distance, and then get off onto the footpath, and then come up alongside him with my old iPhone, which was barely working at the time. And convince him that I'm, filming him, and well, actually, I did, and take some photographs. So he's surely enough, he's at the next light, and I first of all take a photo of his number plate, and then I go up on the footpath and went up with my phone and holding it up like I was filming, but I wasn't filming. And then took a couple of photographs of his cab where the windows were closed, and I couldn't actually see inside, not very well anyway. So then I was holding up the phone, and I was pointing at the phone, and I was suggesting to him, although he couldn't hear me, that perhaps it was time he looked for a different job, considering he was now on film.
You might want to get your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is going on, and then also on top of my bicycle helmet, I've actually got a light which is mounted, but it wasn't in use at the time, but it's like a big barrel kind of looking light. And if someone suggested it was a camera, you might believe them, right? Because he was a little ways away. So then I'm pointing at my phone that I'm recording him with, and I'm also occasionally pointing in between career advice. I'm pointing to the camera on top of my helmet as well. And anyway, so I could see he was gesticulating and also yelling at me. And then unfortunately, it all came to an abrupt end when he pulled off at the lights. But wait, there's more. So I figure, I'm not having this, right? And it's like a well-known delivery company. So I went home and I lodged a complaint.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Like, who does that with the name of their employer emblazoned on their vehicle? I mean, that's a pretty big swing on his part.
That's what I figure. They normally say, how are we driving? Well, exactly. I can tell you. Not very well. Some serious concerns. Namely involving my bodily harm.
Exactly, yeah. Bottles of water, is that standard practice for DPD drivers to lob at cyclists?
Exactly.
Wow.
Right, so I go onto their website and find out what I have to do, and I download the photos from my phone. So I get one of the number plate, make sure you can read it pretty well, and then looked up on the maps where I was so I can compose my testimony, my statement, my affidavit. And then I think, oh, well, I wonder if they can identify the driver. I've given them the number plate, so they probably know already who's driving it. But I've taken photos of him through the cab, right?
Right.
So I go and download the photos and then crop them down and then try to just, you can't really see it because it's kind of like through a tinted cab, it seemed, or just reflections, I suppose. So I pulled it into a photo editor and played with some of the contrast and brightness and then made some features become a bit more prominent. So I thought I'd save these so I could send it to them. And I have a close look and I think, what's that? So I zoom in. He's eating an ice cream. The whole time he's been chasing me, throwing bottles of water at me, and gesticulating and arguing. He's eating the ice cream he got from the ice cream truck.
Oh, that is brilliant. Kelso, one of your best, my son. Well, that has made me feel welcome. That's good. Wait,
at that point, I realised I had a life experience.
Right. Yeah, so you busted him eating and driving, which can't be...
Licking and driving.
Licking and driving. So in these photos, is the ice cream, like, in shot? You know, is it, like, right there? You know, it's not like he's not obscuring it. It's like he's, like, mid-lick. Is that what you're saying?
Mid-lick and mid-expletive.
Right.
Mid-gesture as well, I guess.
God. Well, for me and the dear listener, what kind of ice cream was it? What are we talking here? Double cone or like 2 scoops? What is it? Soft
well,
serve?
interesting you say that because DPD rejected my complaint based on the fact that we couldn't identify the ice cream. They weren't sure if it was a Golden Gay Time or a Calypso.
Oh, red tape. Again, that's a shame.
I should have said, listen, if that's an artisan scoop, where the guys actually scooped it into a waffle cone, you could probably identify it.
Did you get any video footage of this? You said you had your camera out, your camera phone.
No, I think maybe at the time I was holding my iPhone together with a rubber band.
Right.
I decided that video was a risk not worth taking.
Oh my God.
I had to document what was happening to me.
Because I was going to say, if you did, you should send it to me and I would make that video go viral. I'd probably call it Ice Cream Licking Delivery Driver Goes Burko. I'll put it all over Unilad.
I imagine one of those graphics or images or montages where the likes and views and shares are racing up.
Yeah. And then people in the comment section share their own dealings with delivery drivers. Ice cream licking.
It's quite possible we might be able to identify and perhaps even apprehend the South London ice cream bandit.
Maybe you could zoom in on the ice cream, see if we can get a tongue pattern. You know what I mean? Like if we could see aside this shit. Like maybe maybe his tongue print is on record.
Yeah. Maybe I should have invoked him to throw the ice cream at me. Then I would have had some, DNA evidence, or at least, as you say, some imprints from the curling of the ice cream. Maybe we could match it to the ice cream implement, the spoon.
If he threw the ice cream out, you should have caught it and licked it and say, "Well, who's laughing now?"
Established dominance. And I could have said, "Ha, it was a ruse just to get your licky stick." Licky stick?
Oh my God, that's brilliant! Oh my God, you should go out writing every day. See how many more stories like that you can collect.
I do go out riding every day. But
really? But this is the first time. Right. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So, the moral of the story is, keep your thoughts on parking to yourself, I guess.
If you're thinking about shaking your head in mocked disapproval, well, it wasn't mocked, it was disapproval.
So I wonder what his end game was going to be. What did he think you were going to do? Well, you know what? I take it back. Your parking was adequate.
I admit, considering the circumstances, that you were getting an ice cream. It was in kind of a residential area when there's not a lot of actual traffic, lots of cyclists. But I take it back.
Yeah, because the ice cream van just take off at any minute. You know, like he was probably right to just screech over like he was in a cop car. You know, and just.
The thing is, you're much more forgiving of the ice cream truck. He obviously didn't cause the blockage. He had just set up business. He's got mouths to feed.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this guy, obviously, I mean, he's a delivery driver. I'm sure it's not the first ice cream he's bought. Why didn't he just go to a shop? He saw this ice cream van and went. He just pulled it in. I must have an ice cream.
I wonder now if maybe he did kind of like just reach out through the window. Maybe he parked up so he could get the delivery into the van.
Yeah, like just chuck a £2 coin through the window of the ice cream and just get the guy to hand it to him. Yeah, that would.
Although there was room for me to easily cycle between the two, so that he would have had to really lean out belly on the doorknob.
Oh, well.
Now, perhaps the reason they took umbrage, maybe it was they were actually executing some sort of drug deal.
Right.
And I've seen too much.
So you think maybe the ice cream was laced, or maybe there was a package inside, sort of like the metal file inside the cake that someone brings to a prison. Maybe it was squirreled away inside of his choc top.
Perhaps what was happening is, in those superhero comics, quite often the villain is deploying to the general public some sort of insanity drug. So perhaps this ice cream purveyor was some sort of supervillain incorporating into his tasty summertime treats.
And you just happened to stumble on the tip of the iceberg, or in this case, the tip of the ice cream.
Delicious, but won't sink a boat. But it will, that could have been patient zero. He could have been just trialing it out, and it works. This DPD driver, normally mild-mannered, after one lick of that salted caramel, he was ready to assault a likely young lad on a bicycle.
Exactly. You got the red mist. Which was probably what the drug is known as,
that's a great name for a drug, or the villain himself, Red Mist.
Or maybe just the flavour of the ice cream.
All three.
Yeah, give us 2 scoops of Red Mist, thanks.
Mr. Red Mist?
Yeah.
I hope there's no Red Mist in this Red Mist, Mr. Red Mist.
Yeah, don't be stingy with the Red Mist.
Would you like any extra Red Mist? It's 30p.
So was there any beeping of the horn, or was it just like a menacing, like...
Not that I can recall. It was definitely engine revving and him coming at me at high speeds and swerving, and then when he did pass me at one point, obviously very close to me. But it was really the throwing of the water bottle that made me realise his intentions.
Right. Well, they were never pure, but...
Well, they were until he licked a bit of red mist.
So let me ask you this: what kind of bottle was it? Like just like a general plastic water bottle that you get from the shops, that kind of thing.
It was one of those large Evian style water bottles.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm talking, like 1.5 to 2 liters size.
Right. Well, you should now, because do you have like a saddle pack on your bicycle?
Yes, of course. Yeah,
Well,
I call it a pannier, which
pannier.
is French for saddlebag.
Excellent. I would keep, if I was you from now on, just in case this kind of incident happens again, I would keep 2 small balloons filled with milk.
With milk?
Milk, because water's not going to, milk. You only want to get it right on the windscreen.
Well, yogurt would be better then.
Oh, yogurt, yes, thick. Yeah, you want it thick. But if you've got you can have these milk or yogurt filled balloons in your pannier for so long that maybe after 3 months, when it hits the windscreen, it's some awful grey sludge. That would be the ultimate revenge. But I don't think it was an unfair fight. It was a real David and Goliath sort of thing, because you're on a bicycle and this guy's in a huge van. I mean, that's not a fair fight.
Yeah. maybe an alternative retaliation. I could carry in my pannier a whole bunch of very small water bottles, right? Like the smallest you can get. And then, like, if I ever get attacked again by the big guns, I could, try throwing back a few small ones.
Like the ones you get on an aeroplane, those ones.
Yeah, the tiny little ones. If I train myself, I might be able to get some sort of machine gun motion going. That will surprise him.
Yeah, like a quick fire. I see your 1 litre Evian bottle. How about this? A couple of 300 ml. Boom, boom, boom. Mother, boom, mother, boom. That kind of thing.
Although what I really should be doing is detaining him and restraining him, and then interviewing him so I can actually get to Red Mist. It's not his fault.
Exactly. Citizen's arrest. Maybe. I'll take that ice cream. Thank you very much. But what if you took it, confiscated it, had a lick, and then you got the Red Mist? And then, that would have been, then you would have been patient
we would be
too.
Recording this podcast today, dear listener.
That's right. Yeah, I'd be having to vouch for you in court.
That's right. Or getting me to come down from my penthouse lair. Just come down, Kelso. It'll be all okay.
Yes, and this podcast will be entered into state's evidence.
Now, we'll say for DPD, they did take my report seriously, which I should have mentioned Kelso. I'm Kelso. I should mention Kerwin that I did, in my report, I did mention the fact that it was eating an ice cream, and I did use an exclamation point.
Right. But what was their reply? Are you able to read it to me? Would that be possible? Because I would like to see how. Because I know you. I'm sure that your complaint would have been very thorough, and full of great literary flourishes. I would have thought. I
did put a bit of time and effort into it. I will tell you and the dear customer listener. I've just seen that it's come from DPD customer service. Now, you might have liked to play some Googling shit music while we led up to that, because I used Gmail, I was actually Googling shit.
Oh, really? So do you want, I can do it live if you want. Here we go. Please tell me you've got it.
I've got it. Okay. You couldn't extend that for another 12 minutes?
I was running out of breath.
Well, a lot of people don't realise what stresses the mouth trumpet puts on a man.
Exactly.
Right. So I can't remember the details, but I must have just registered that with my email address that I had a complaint, and maybe you couldn't fill it out immediately. So I got sent back an email saying, yep, let us know the details. So I will read it in its entirety.
Okay.
I was cycling home on this road around 4 p.m. yesterday. I've left out the road.
Right.
On this date, last summer, when I saw your van parked inconsiderately, blocking the road as it was opposite an ice cream truck. No exclamation point. I just put that in. The van was parked so that no other car could get through and facing the same direction as the van at an angle, and only a bike could just squeeze through. I might have lied a little bit there, because I could get through reasonably easy, as I recall, without stopping. Right. I must have shaken my head and said something to myself like, nice park, in quotes, as I squeezed through. The next thing I know, your van is driving fast and aggressively, trying to catch me up. He had to turn around the van and follow me as it was facing the opposite direction.
Did you say you were on a bicycle? I missed that. Did you say you were riding a bike?
I started with I was cycling home.
Cycling home.
So
yeah, sorry.
I didn't say explicitly.
Right.
He must have seen me shake my head and was now chasing me and attempting to intimidate me! Exclamation point. I could not believe it. He was driving dangerously and putting me and other road users in danger.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
We stopped at the lights of the intersection, and I gave the exact road details because I was being very thorough.
Uh-huh.
And I indicated to him, the driver, that he must be crazy by tapping my head, then ignored him. So you can see, dear listener, I did gloss over perhaps my... Technically, I wasn't lying, though. I did say... I indicated that he must be crazy by tapping my head.
Yeah, look, you were definitely the hero in this version of it, for sure. Yeah.
Right, then ignored him. Mm-hmm. When he pulled off at the lights, he threw a large bottle of water out of his window at me! Exclamation point. Luckily, he was throwing from his driver's side over the van to his passenger's side to try and hit me, so he had no chance, but it was still quite a shock that he seemed intent on insulting me! Another exclamation point. I followed him at a distance to the next lights I gave the name of the roads again, and took photographs of the van and your driver. He made rude gestures to me, and he seemed to be threatening me, but I could not hear him as his windows were up. I attached the photos. I attached the photos. You can see that your driver is eating an ice cream at the wheel. Holy cow! I've actually put holy cow.
You actually wrote that. Oh.
At the wheel! Exclamation point! Holy cow! Exclamation point! This guy is unbelievable and representing your company. The license plate is, I assume you can check the location and movements of this van on GPS to confirm my story. I assume you do not want such vile examples of humanity representing your company.
Right.
Please inform me how you will address this matter, as this man is endangering people's lives.
Right. Well,
Love, Kelso.
Love, Kelso. Eternally yours, Kelso.
Be right back.
Now, can I shock you, Kelso? I actually did some quick... I have one of those computers that you see in the movies that's able to, tap into, hack into things. I've got one of those computers.
Are you telling me you've hacked into the mainframe?
I've hacked into the mainframe of DPD, and I've managed to find...
I bet that computer can also do the enhance. Enhance!
Yeah, it does.
Enhance, damn it!
Exactly. I'm looking at his ice cream right now, and it actually looks delicious. But no, I've managed to find his response to that. And right. Shall I read it to you now?
Okay. Please do.
To whom it may concern...
The character development is amazing.
Yeah, like that, yeah. I was happening to be driving part doing my last delivery of the day, and as you know, I'm a diabetic. And I was having a bit of a blood sugar spike. At that very moment, I saw an ice cream van. I pulled, immediately, and maybe, I might have parked a little bit inconsiderately, right? But I needed that ice cream, right? And some guy going past on one of those big motorbike, like a chopper, right? He says to me, "You fucking idiot," right? And then he makes a motion on his head like I've got a fucking dick on me head. As you know, I do not condone that kind of behaviour. So I decided to follow this guy and make sure that he knew that I was upset, right? And then he made a motion to me like he was thirsty or something. So I give him a bottle of water. And then I turned off and went home.
To watch EastEnders.
Till next time.
Hooroo.
See you later.